Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Post. Our next guest is the global social media manager at BioCatch, based in Brazil. He leads BioCatch's social media strategy, focusing on engagement, brand awareness, and employee advocacy. One of his favorite projects has been launching the Social Media World Cup, a global competition that transforms LinkedIn activity into a team sport. He enjoys finding creative ways to get employees excited about social media and making advocacy something they genuinely want to participate in. So please join me in welcoming Gustavo Mazzocchi to the show. Gus, are you ready to go behind the post with me?
Absolutely, Alina. Thanks for having me. And hi, everyone.
Thank you for being here with me. I'm so excited to have you on this episode to talk all about your employee advocacy competition. But before we do, to kick things off, please can you tell us a little bit about BioCatch and your role there?
Absolutely. So, BioCatch is a global leader in fraud and financial crime prevention for financial institutions around the world. We do that by analyzing behavior and subtle changes in this human behavior.
Amazing. And a little bit about your role there?
So, I'm a social media manager at BioCatch. I'm currently leading all our global and local strategies to raise brand awareness and brand reputation, and also the employee advocacy around the world.
Amazing. So, as I said in this episode, we're going to be diving into your employee advocacy competition, the Social Media World Cup. I'm so excited to hear all about it. So, to start, can you give us a little overview of the competition and how you structured it?
Absolutely. I'm happy to discuss about the Social Media World Cup. So the Social Media World Cup, Alina, is a project that I designed to make social media easy, fun, and engaging, not only for the top advocates to participate, but also the ones that are really social media people. So the Social Media World Cup is a themed social media contest that joins football, something that a lot of people like and like to watch, and also again social media, something that's all about creating conversations and creating connections with people around the world. We launched it back in February of this year at our global company kickoff, and spoiler alert, there's going to be a fun fact about how we launched it as well.
Amazing. So, as you said, launching a competition is big. It takes time, it takes careful planning. And you kind of already mentioned launching it. So, I'd love to know, how did you first announce it to your company and get employees excited to participate?
Absolutely, Alina. So it's actually a fun fact. So again, you want to launch a big social media contest, not going with a small email or a small Teams or Slack message. You want to go big if you're especially announcing something big in front of the entire company. Now, we had one chance, one opportunity, which was our Lisbon in Portugal kickoff at our company. So the way we did it, we had our CMO presenting it, and I bought a football so that we could announce it in front of everybody. So the way I did it is we wanted to make a big, memorable moment. So my CMO was presenting, and he was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something after, presenting all the stats about marketing and sales. And he's like, I feel like I'm forgetting about something. And I don't know what it is, but I'm forgetting. And then I come out of, behind everybody and say, you know, JD, his name is JD. JD, you're forgetting about the Social Media World Cup. Get this in. And then I throw the ball in front of all the crowd, and he catches it, midair. Everyone goes crazy in the crowd. Everyone starts cheering. It's like, what is going on? And I'm super, I'm also nervous about it because I couldn't miss the throw, so I got the throw right. And a little bit of about a fun fact, he said, as brand ambassadors, last year we did great with social media, but this year we're stepping it up. We want to battle to reclaim who's going to be the top region in BioCatch on social media. So it's going to be a themed contest. So he explained a little bit about how the contest is going to work, which I'll dive in a little bit. And then, when he got it done, so it was his last slide, he threw the ball back at me. And this is what we didn't plan it. I didn't expect. We only planned me throwing the ball at him, not him throwing it back to me. So I wasn't actually, paying really attention to that. And I caught the ball at the very last second right in my face. So everyone thought it was, a perfectly planned moment, but it almost turned into a disaster. But again, it was such an epic, moment to be announcing the whole thing.
Amazing. And you must have built so much excitement. Like I know for not all companies, they're able to time it with a kickoff, but luckily for you at BioCatch, you had a kickoff coming and you were able to announce it live to everyone there. And it sounds like you built so much excitement for this program that I bet you had people running to ask you to join. You said you were going to explain a little bit about how the competition works and how it's set up. I know it's running over 11 months, correct? Do you mind going into detail about what the competition is?
Yeah, so a little bit about the background of, contest that we ran in BioCatch. I've done some themed contests before last year, especially during the Olympics. So I did a social media Olympics where during the month of August, we did, gold, silver, and bronze medal to top advocates around the world. I found out that instead of doing, each every quarter or each every week, the sweet spot for my, to getting the best out of the contest is doing it on a monthly basis. And basically, when I tried doing quarter, I saw, our numbers weren't going up. And again, just tying in with a contest, a theme like the Olympics gets people very excited to joining, your advocacy program and posting about your company as well. So that was something that I learned last year running these contests. And this year we wanted to make something, again, double down and go big. So the Social Media World Cup is meant to go from February until December. So it's going to be 11 monthly tournaments. And at the end of the year, the region that has the most points, and that is LATAM, APAC, EMEA, or North America, the region that racks up the most points will win the Social Media World Cup. And there we have, MVPs, we have team players, we have lucky strikers, which I'll also give a little bit of a depth on these players. But yeah, the contest is meant to be, a big World Cup, and inside of these World Cup, monthly tournaments, and again, that way I can keep everyone engaged into, getting prizes, celebrating our advocates, and get everyone motivated to running, the next month and following.
Absolutely. These little month bursts just keep people going. They're like, okay, the next competition's here, the next competition's here. So it's almost like a reset where they can keep trying to win again and again and again. I definitely agree with you. We also did the Olympics advocacy competition at Oxpost, and I've also noticed when I theme the competitions on something timely or something like going on in the world, advocates love to take part. There's something about it. So I definitely agree with you. Um, I know you have 214 advocates taking part, so I'm interested to ask, how are you tracking your winners and their participation?
Lucky that you asked that, Alina, because Octopus has been a blessing to track all the points. So the way I structured it, and again, this comes from learning to launching out a contest, is advocates can get points from making a post, personalizing their post, suggesting a post, or even getting engagement on their own posts on LinkedIn. So from past experiences, and again, trying to make a system that's balanced, fair, and that everyone has a chance to win, I found out that, you want specifically people to, the main objective is to get people posting about your company and about, activities they're doing related to your company. And the second objective is that post needs to sound genuine. That post needs to sound it's coming from them, and it's not just, a corporate message, and you don't want people posting the same message over and over again. So the way to counter that is I made sure to give a lot of points to people so that they personalize their post. Yeah, posting is the first step, but what actually is the most valuable thing is, sounding you, being authentic, being genuine, because that's what, social media algorithms tend to push to more people to view. It's that authentic interactions that you're looking for. So personalizing your post, definitely one of the big things that I made sure on the World Cup to be, very important in points. The third thing is I would say is you want to keep a consistent flow of posts coming your way. What that means is I have a bandwidth of what I can deliver to my advocates. But all of these 200 plus advocates that we have running the social media World Cup today can feed me content so that I can enable to other people to share. So that's where Octopost is again a blessing and such an easy thing to put in my strategy. So people suggest me local news or posts about the industry or that I can enable to other advocates around the world for them to share. So that way I keep a consistent flow every single week, almost every single day. I'm pushing local and global content for these advocates to share. So that's how everyone has a chance to win because you can suggest content, post, personalize your posts, and you can even post what I call personal posts, which are posts that you would normally do on LinkedIn, but you can do through Octopus, so you still win some points. And I again reassure that it needs to be related to the sector or BioCatch or something interesting about their work. So this is how I tend to get the most fair out of these contests.
Amazing. And it's also good. I also do that for my advocates. I do want them to personalize their content. So I give them more points for that than like posting a post in the first place, just to like really emphasize the best practices that you want your advocates to do. And then they'll do it because they want to win the competition. They want more points and then it will work through. Same with suggested content, as you're already saying. Especially when advocates see what they want to be put up on the board, then they're going to feel more excited to take part. So what better way to encourage them to do that than to award them higher points on your leaderboard? Then it calculates it all for you, and then everyone can see where they're ranking. Um, so as we're saying, we're trying to find these ways to keep our advocates engaged and keep them going and posting content. Sometimes it can be really hard to keep them active on social media. It's something all of us face, all of us advocacy leaders face. So what are some of the common challenges that you faced, and how has this competition helped you overcome them?
That's a great question, Alina. I think the biggest challenge is that there's actually two. So I'm going to speak briefly about two top challenges. The first one being, how do you get the I'm not a social media type of person to join your social media efforts, join the fun, join sharing about the company. That's a tricky one because often people what you the objections that you find are uh, I'm too afraid to share something on social media, or I don't see the value or sharing things on social media. So it all starts with you going having a one-on-one conversation and kind of asking questions to them, also almost like a sales process that you do with them, and you ask them questions and then they realize, oh, actually, I wouldn't mind start making one post or the other each a few months or a few days if it's approved content, it's content that I like to share, or even that social media is not this haunting ghost or this monster that you should be afraid of. So it's kind of deconstructing this concept that you you know and again influencing that you should be using social media even for your personal career, your growth. And again, you're helping us fuel. This is what I tell all the advocates and everyone. By posting about BioCatch, you're helping us fuel the BioCatch mission, the BioCatch purpose. So you're not only helping yourself, you're helping also the company, grow, and that eventually will help you as well grow. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. And but again, I think it all starts with connecting with everybody, not just sending an email and join Octopus or join our World Cup. It starts with going one by one, and this takes this
Yeah.
takes a lot of work, but it goes by one-on-one conversations to try to get this people on social media. I've got a lot of people saying yeah, sorry, I'm really not a social media person, and I totally get it, I totally understand it, but you know feel free to anytime if you change your mind. I'll be there. The contest will be there, and we would love you to help us, help you, and just to have you included on everything. So that's the challenge number one, that I would say is one of the biggest ones. The second one is what you actually mentioned, Alina, which is how do you get people sharing it even week by week, day by day, your content and making them sure to keep it on a regular basis these shares, the quality, especially the quality of their posts. And again, this is where the contest comes in. If I'm a big advocate of running social media contests, because it's not just about posting. It's at the end of every month you're going to be saying to in front of the entire company, these are the rock stars of this company. These are the BioCatch rock stars. These people are, and again, I call them, the team players or the, player of the tournament. These are your rock stars. And not only that, these rock stars got some big, rewards, some big prizes. I normally tend to go with gift cards and swag. People, but I even have a BioCatch shirt right now. I have, a BioCatch, a bottle on me right now. It's, we have so much cool swag, so we enable people with the swag,
Yeah.
but mainly people are looking for the gift cards. And I use a very cool platform where I can, send gift cards to any country of the world. So everyone can have, they can go to a store or they can shop online and get any product that they want. So the financial reward is definitely something that gets people excited. And again, uh, 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 from the success we had in 2024, I could convince my leadership to even double down. So we doubled the financial rewards for the social media World Cup, and it's not it's not the same thing. So last year I had kind of a small budget, and I couldn't run like every month a contest. This year we're running every single month a contest with high financial rewards, and at the end of the year it's going to be a big reward again to the top region of the world. So it's going to be a battle of the regions. I'm pretty excited about how who's going to be the winner. So
And I can't wait to
yeah.
check in with you at the end of the year. I want to hear exactly how this went. I think it's insane. But yeah, as you're saying, like I also noticed it with my advocates here. Once there's a competition going, everyone just wants to be a part of something. They want to compete for something. The rewards do make a difference, as you're saying, and it can be a range of things. It can be depending on what your budget allows and what you can do. So whether it's a company lunch or it's swag from your swag store, like you said that you're all decked out now, but or whether it's gift cards, which we do as well here. There's a way that you can find a price on any budget, a price, sorry, and it will definitely encourage everybody to take part. Um, Speaking about this though, obviously engagement is very like top priority to have the competition to work out, but fairness is also very important. So how are you ensuring that your competition is inclusive and encourages participation from a diverse group of employees?
That's a great question, Alina. So as I kind of went through before, the contest is made to be as most democratic and inclusive as possible. So back then, when I was strategizing and building the whole plan, I thought, well, how can I get? I'm gonna call them the average Joe, or the I'm not a social media person, or I post here and then person to also contribute to posting online. That's where it came down to kind of a waterfall. So you would have your top advocates, the player of the tournament. You would have the team players, which are they're not the top advocates, but again they're so important to the whole strategy. And then comes the cherry on top of the cake, which I call them the lucky strikers. The lucky strikers are people that posted once or even twice. They posted and they have a chance to win the raffle. So, they shot the football out of some place at the court and they scored a goal, right? So they either made a creative post, their post went viral, or even they were very, selective with their words. They haven't posted before, so I'm gonna randomly choose, but also I'm gonna go post by post to understand. All right, this is a lucky striker. No, this person was very creative, or this post went viral, or even it's it's a lucky striker, right? It's a lucky winner, so they won it by luck. So that way, that of course they're not going to get the biggest prize, but again they're also contributing. So I made sure we had a lot of lucky strikers, but again one for so the first place goes to the player of the tournament, the second place to the team player, and again a bunch of lucky strikers so that all the regions could have a chance to win. And again, how I made it more inclusive is instead of having individuals, specific individuals win the monthly tournaments, I made sure that all the regions would have their player of the tournaments, their team players, and their lucky strikers. So all the regions have a chance to win. Everybody has a chance to win. So there's no real reason for you to not participate, Elena. That's what I'm telling people.
No, that's amazing. No, I also genuinely I think it's really important to have that in an advocacy competition because I think sometimes a lot of people, let's say for example, someone junior in a company will look at maybe someone more senior, team lead and executive and be like, don't have a network like them. I haven't been in the industry long enough. I'm not going to make that much of an impact. But the point is that they make such an impact just from one post. So doing things like Lucky Strikers is showing them that they do. Um, so I really love that you've done that. And it also helps getting more people engaged, which is always something as advocacy leaders, thing that we need. My next question for you is how are you measuring the success of your competition?
That's a tricky and good question. I think success from this contest solely is specifically uh, how much people I got inside of the competition. So today, as you said, today people are coming to me asking, let me join Octopus, and this has never happened before in such a frequency that is happening today. Here and then you will get people that join the company or people that heard about Octopus saying, oh, I want to join Octopus. After we launched the social media World Cup, people were left and right asking me to join. Even people that weren't that in the past said to me, oh, thank you, I'm not a social media person, or I don't want to join. They were coming back to me saying, I would like to test, or I would like to have a test at this social media World Cup thing that you guys are running. So that's the main success. Today we have 57% of the company participating, the social media World Cup, which is super big. So that's one of the main objectives is I wanted to get how to track success. I wanted to get the most people as I could inside of the contest and Octopus. And the other one is we're looking at all those social media metrics, which is engagement, conversions, but most importantly, how does that influence sales opportunities through social media? So how does that impact our social media and sales initiatives? So that's how I'm looking at it today.
Absolutely. They're all three different diverse ones, but they're all really important, especially the last one, because social media really has the impact to impact sales. It has an impact on the bottom line. And to be able to see what touch points a potential prospect or customer has been along their journey through social media is so important to be able to prove. And by running competitions like this, you'll get your employees posting more, your advocates are pushing more content out there, which means you're reaching more people. So thank you for explaining the metrics that you focus on for your competition because it's different at every company. But beyond this competition, how have you embedded a social media culture at BioCatch to sustain long-term employee advocacy?
It's a tricky question, Alina. But I think it comes down to uh, most importantly is how do you get your leaders, your senior leaders to buy in the whole social media, what I'm going to call module, right? Every social media every company has a brand or social media channels, but does your leaders believe that social media is a key component to the company's operation or the company's strategy? And luckily, I'm in a company that values that, right? So getting your leaders to again understand the importance of social media in a digital world where we have our offline personas, but we also have our online personas, right? And oftentimes people, their first touch of contact with you is going to be through online channels. So you want to have a good reputation, a good brand, either if it's personal or corporate brand out there. So that starts there. And again, the second phase is you proving that social media is able to influence sales opportunities. And this is again the top thing that it's most people are not aware of. Yes, you can track properly if your sales opportunities are being effectively influenced by social media through some various ways. So that's that. But again, you want to get your senior leaders, especially your sales leader, to buy in the whole social media thing. And after you get that, get them to use Octopus, post on social media so that when you're presenting in front of the entire company or when you're launching a contest, you're referring to them. You're not, it's not the global social media managers saying, oh, use Octopus, oh, post on social media. It's actually, the leaders saying they, and you're saying that they understand that social media is very an important thing. And again, once you get the leaders to buy in the whole thing, it's easy for others to join. Because if your boss or if your leader is doing it, well, maybe I should be doing it as well.
Absolutely. There is something about embedding this culture into a company where people really see the value of social media and employee advocacy. And especially as you're saying, like have those people in different departments. And if they are leaders or part of the leadership team, it's even better because they're looking up to them and they're like, oh, they're doing it. We should be doing it. So embedding that culture is so important and getting this off the ground and running and truly successful. So with that, we're going to move over to the last question. I'd love to ask you, this is my favorite question to ask everybody, but what is the best piece of social media advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice. Okay, I think we discussed this briefly, but if what I the best piece of advice I can pass along is uh, as social media managers, we want to make sure we regularly keep people posting, engaged, and especially how do we communicate these efforts, right? If, I've heard from plenty of people when I said, oh, we're actually going to have, a short break or, it's not, there's not going to be that much rewards. It was like clockwork. People starting, not posting that much, I wasn't getting the engagement. My numbers were going down. And so my best piece of advice is, regularly make sure that you're communicating about this, your social media rock stars, your social media results, so that people look at and be like, yeah, this is a real thing. This is serious and this is fun. It's a serious and fun at the same time, right? So definitely make sure. And again, from my experience, the best way to do it is on a monthly basis, right? So every month, maybe run a theme contest such as like I did. So the World Cup. There's a recent stat by FIFA that more than 1 billion people watched the World Cup final, the last World Cup final. So get something that people can resonate with and with you, right?
Yeah.
So, football for me was the perfect choice to do back in the day. Find something that, if it's, in the US, maybe it's American football, or, if it's in India, maybe you want to do a cricket, World Cup, something like that, right? Or a local cup. So find something that, people are like genuinely excited. And again, the advice is regularly, communicate, the behind the scenes of the thing and keep people engaged, motivated. And maybe a cherry on the cake is craft something, build something that you would participate in. So maybe that's the best advice I could give.
That's also
you know
good.
build something that you would be like, yeah, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
This is something that I would participate, and that's where you have a winning product, a winning social media contest, or a winning social media advocacy strategy, if you may call it like that.
Absolutely. When you said that, I also remembered like if you're passionate about the competition you're throwing, your advocates will see that. And if you make it fun for them, they will feel it. So you want to have the passion for it. So absolutely, creating something that you want to be part of is so important. With that, Gus, thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I've loved hearing about your competition, and I cannot wait to check in with you monthly to see how this tournament is going.
I would love, to report how everything is going for you, Alina. Thank you so much again for having me. Super excited for what's next with Octopus and BioCatch as well. So keep an eye on that.